Hey gang, Professor Feeser here, and in today's video we're talking about formatted string literals, or F strings. And the idea behind an F string is that a developer should be able to produce dynamic text as easily as possible, dynamic strings as easily as possible, as opposed to working with clunky static strings and adding them together to produce some sort of final product. In the documentation, they have an example where they put an F, a lowercase f, they say it could also be uppercase, in front of a string, which allows that string to take on this dynamic quality. Squiggly brackets indicate this is a variable. And what's interesting is even though that's a number and its numbers, integers, wouldn't be compatible directly with strings, it doesn't cause an error. The F string converts a numeric representation into a string representation of the same value. So you still get results of the 2016 event is referendum. Gang, this video is one in a series on learning all about Python. If you find yourself confused, go back to the beginning of the series and work up from there. I promise we'll be waiting for you as soon as you get caught up. If you're ready to get coding, connect to the repository in GitHub that you're working from. Create a CodeSpace or connect to one that's already running. And create yourself a file. Let's call this learning fstrings.py. To start, we're going to do the shebang, the docstring, the def main, a docstring for main, and if name equals main. So go ahead and knock that out. Okay, gang, let's make a couple examples of F strings that we can keep with us. The first one we're going to do is basic variable insertion. And what we mean here is we have a variable such as RZFeeser, and we are interested in displaying a string, hello there, squigglies, name. So that will fill in name with RZFeeser. So we'd expect to get RZFeeser from that one. Let's run it just to make sure that that's what we're producing. Indeed, hello there, RZFeeser. Let's do another one. We could do Arithmetic Operations. And that just means we're going to do some math inside of an F string. So A can equal to 5, B can equals to 2. Print an F string. We'll do the sum of squiggly A and squiggly B. And then inside of squigglies A plus B. That's okay. That should say 7, right? 5, 6, 7, indeed. Very cool. We can also do floating point formatting. Floating point formatting. There is a value of pi inside of the math library, but we haven't gotten to imports yet. So let's just create a variable called pi 3.14159. 3.14159. We only want 2 digits of precision though. So what we can do is say print 2 digits from pi, and then inside of the, or 2 decimal digits from pi, we just have pi is the variable colon, and then dot for the decimal. 2 digits of floating point type is the F. So that should give us something like 3.14 should be our output. Actually, technically, something like that. Let's hit play and see that one as well. Down at the bottom, that's what we got. Fantastic. Let's do a few more. We can do string padding, something like that. We could have a word like dragon, and then we could create a print f string, something like this will always be 10 characters. We want to have the word, and then stars are going to fill in any negative space because we always want 10 characters. So we'll get something like DRAGON 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That means 1, 2, 3, 4 will be in front of it. If we hit run, you can see that 4 stars followed by a dragon for a total of 10 characters. We could reach into a dict for values. So that's easy enough. We make Webster, and Webster can be a simple dictionary. We can have name, can be Luna, and class can be wizard. Print f string. We'll say the name of the character is squiggly. Webster.get. And then we could pass in something like name. Should be reflected of Luna. Similarly, you don't have to use the get function. The name of the character is squiggly. You could still say Webster square bracket and pass into the square bracket the name. That would be fine as well. Let's use, since we have single quotes and nested single quotes, we have to switch it up. I'm going to put double quotes on the inside and leave the single quotes on the outside. Let's hit play. We don't have any problems there. That's fine. That's reaching into a dictionary 2 different ways, gets you the same thing. Let's do 2 more examples using an expression in an F string. I doubt you'll see this very often. Health is equal to 10. Print, we'll say player status. The player status will say alive. Alive if health is greater than 0, else dead. And again, this is one. We'll switch up our quotes so that they're understood. There we go. Double quotes nested inside the single. Doesn't matter which way you do that. You could have doubles on the outside and singles on the inside, but it needs to be different. Player status alive if health greater than 0, else dead. We haven't seen that sort of logic conditional yet, but there it is. And again, you won't see it that often in the wild, I don't think. But it is legal. Let's hit play and prove that it is. Player status alive, the same way if we close it to 0, it's dead. I like to be alive, so let's leave it alive. The last one just primes us for a really practical use. Oftentimes when we're putting together URIs to do HTTP lookups, we reach for F strings. So let's say we have a token equal to QWERTY. So there's better ways in production. Never put a secret in your code. We would want to read that out as an environmental variable or from a file that wasn't part of the repo or a vault. But for right now, it's just in our code for an example. And we'll say we want to print. This would be like a URI we want to look up. Something like http://rzfeeser.com service ? Token equals. Inside of squigglies, we'll put token. So the token in the squigglies is that one right there. So now if we hit play, you can see that the URI we're going to look up has embedded in it that secret, which might be necessary to do the lookup in the first place. Gang, I really like this example. Let's go ahead and commit it over on the left. Hit source control. You probably won't have the delete. I have that because I made a change to one of the examples I was working on earlier. So you'll just have learning F strings. That's fine. Let's put here a commit message learning about F strings. Go ahead and make the commit. Say yes. This is asking for a commit message, so just make sure removed F strings. If ever you get to that sort of pause, it's looking for some sort of message to make the commit with. Just give it what it needs. Otherwise, it's just going to hang on that screen. Ultimately, you know you're done when you close those tabs, hop open to your repo, and you should see just now some work committed. In our case, learning fstrings.py. Gang, that was fantastic. You just learned about F strings, which are a way to create dynamic text. This is going to come in especially useful when we start creating URIs to send HTTP requests to. Gang, if you learned something, hit like and go ahead and subscribe so that I do see you in the next episode of Code with Feeser.